All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new season of the No ID podcast. Is your host, Rome Davis. I have here writer, comic, Jedi, hailing from the NY, the one and only, the great Corey Marshall.
Yeah, what's going on, Ron? You can't hear
Hey,
me?
shit, how you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I
I'm
can
good.
hear
I'm
you.
good.
It was like
I was about to say we just
you
did like
good,
a
man.
sound check, man. I don't know what's on here. That
Hey,
always
man,
happens, yo.
the struggle. It always, man. I got here. I saw this man perform a couple of weeks ago at a Joker Day showcase over here in Virginia. Hilarious comedian, straight from NY. I did not do any crowd work on him because he had Army Fatigue songs, so I know I was gonna get my ass whooped.
I mean, the Army fatigues,
But
man. Those are just pants I purchased from a store, but you still would have got your ass whooped though, regardless.
I was not gonna do nothing that day, man.
Definitely not
The,
military.
the, so let's just start here because you're a comedian and a writer. How did you get your start, and who is Corey Marshall?
How did I get my start, and who was Toy Marshall? Those are like entirely two diverse
Two
questions.
different questions, yeah.
But I got. Let's start with how I got my start. In stand up, I got divorced. And I needed to pick me up. I was just feeling down, and I was always funny, and it was definitely one of those things to where I think I can move crowd. You know, I was used to public speaking and presenting. Um, so I got divorced. I decided to pick me up, and what I did was I actually rented a theater in Richmond, Virginia, and I rented a theater in Richmond, Virginia, and did my first comedy show. It was a one-man show. I knew nothing about comedy, not gonna lie, not like I do now. I had an idea about how a show should go. I had an idea about how a set should go. I put jokes together, and I did my first comedy show. And it was a one-man show, and it ran about over an hour and a half. And all I did was tell jokes and funny stories. First time doing it, I was the only one on the show. And from there was some people in the crowd that was happened to be visiting from Caroline Comedy Club in New York. And and they were like, yo, like you should really consider taking up comedy. And I was just like, I think I might do it. And then I ran into some people in the community that was pretty frequent at the Richmond Funny Bone. And then I got in with them, started going to writing sessions there, and stuck with it, man. And that was probably maybe 13 years ago.
13 years ago? Oh, wow.
Yeah, 13 years, yeah.
And your first mic was literally a showcase.
First mic I did was a feature presentation. Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to do it. And well, I haven't done that again since that time because I learned a lot, you know. But it was just like I ain't doing that again. But it was actually a great show, man. It was a great show, and it was a fantastic show. And I say this right, just real quick. I had never. I think the reason why it was a good show is because it was definitely all preparation. Also, just my mindset at the time because I never seen anybody bomb before. I don't even think I've been to like a real live comedy show, to be honest. Um, like at a comedy club or anything like that. I never sat down and went through what an actual comedy set would look like. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what Faye would look like for the most part. And in my head, it was gonna be a success, yo. And I never seen anybody bomb. I never seen anybody have a bad set. After that show, I started looking up at the Funny Bone and started going to comedy shows. And when I seen people bomb, I was, oh my God, that could happen to me. And every time I hit the stage after that, I always had the fear of bombing. And then that's when I started bombing. I started having bad sets and everything like that. So that's just like a note that I kind of took in for myself. Like, nah, like don't expect to have a bad set. You know what I'm saying? It'll still happen, but just don't anticipate.
Yeah, for sure. I think I had a couple of bad ones. I had a chicken bone thrown at me because my set was so bad one time.
But that's a
You see
win-win
how
situation. That's a
so
win-win
win-win.
situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, yo, my set is horrible, but people are giving me shit. Like, it's just,
You see how short I am. I don't have no bass in my voice, so it's not like I can go jump up. I just took that L, man. I was like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and go home. I think I quit for 1 month,
uh-huh.
a month and a half, and then I came back and just came to it, man.
Yeah, those bad sets, man. Like, I don't know, man. They do something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they usually affect you more than what they should. You know, because in your head, you're thinking everybody's still thinking about your set. You're thinking everybody still thinks that you're horrible. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? After your set is over. You know. But them things, man, they can really get to you if you let it.
Yeah, they can. They can. They can. They can. So you've been doing it 13 years?
Yeah, roundabout. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any
And
other experiences or lessons you've learned in those 13 years?
I learned so many, man. Like, I mean, it's a whole lot. All of it, pretty much. I really can't pinpoint, specific ones, but just all throughout my career, you always hear advice. You always learn different things, and sometimes the advice you hear, works for a certain season. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you adhere to it your whole career, it's just, it's something that I heard. I'm gonna stick with this for a minute, and then you start developing your own thing. But you get a lot of good advice. I think some of the most monumental advice, of course, was the ones that were related around being authentic and finding your own voice and the confidence part. I think those are probably the more consistent ones, and also keep getting up on stage and keep writing, keep doing your craft. Those were like the most consistent and true advice that I received throughout my career for the most part.
Yeah, same. It's like riding a bike. Not riding a bike. It's like going to the gym. You know how you go in there, you go there for a year, you eat right, you lifting, you doing everything. But then that moment you say, I'm gonna take some time off. It's that
Yeah,
time the man
yeah,
titties come back out.
I get you. I was gonna say, comedy is not like riding a bike. I rode some bikes, and I never rode on a block, and somebody said, "Boo, boo! Look at that bike rider, boo!" Or threw a chicken bone at me. Like nobody. I never rode my bike and got hit with a chicken bone.
Nah, man. And it was a flat too. That's what probably pissed me off, but we ain't gonna get we ain't gotta get into that, man. Are there any comedians that you look up to or admire? Like some like ones that you studied?
Yeah. Has anybody ever said no to this question?
You be the first one.
I'm not going to be the first one. Because there are, yeah. I think we all have like a Mount Rushmore of comedians. Of course, I got the goats on there, but I'm a fan of comedy, man, and I actually enjoy a lot of comics, man. Like a lot of people that hit the stage. I'm not easy. I'm easy to impress when it comes to comedy. I'm easy to impress. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Like I respect the craft, and there's a lot of people that I actually like it. But as far as inspiration, the main inspiration for me doing stand up was actually Bill Cosby. I was a fan, still am a fan of Bill
Same.
Cosby's contribution to entertainment in general, through entertainment, I should say. And I've always been a fan of Bill, and his style of storytelling and the way that he could just hypnotize the crowd for a certain amount of time and keep them captivated with like a long, detailed story. So that was my start, to be honest. And then from there, the greats, man. Of course Chappelle, Whoopi Goldberg. I grew up, I was born in the '70s, so I came up watching Comic Relief on HBO. You know, with Whoopi Goldberg was on there, Carlin, Robin Williams, and stuff like that. So you know, of course, I grew up watching them. Eddie Murphy. You know, I snuck and watched Eddie. I wasn't supposed to, but you know, I was always captivated by those cats, man. And then, of course, by the time Def Comedy Jam came up, like I was just like, oh man, comedy, dope.
Okay. Blue Collar Comedy Tour is what got
Blue
me.
Collar Comedy Tour. That's
Collar
interesting. Okay,
Comedy Tour.
that's a good tour, but I've never heard that come up for somebody. That's a confession, actually. That's that's a confession.
Yeah. It was Blue Collar Comedy Tour. And I didn't watch Def Comedy Jam. I was born 89. So when Def Comedy Jam was like popping, I was still on Blues Clues and
Yep.
Power Rangers, so it ain't even bothered me.
Yep.
And then like Bad Boys of Comedy, like what really shifted me into
Makes sense.
the things. So like when I heard you perform, you had like a Tony Woods type S tour. I watched the guy a lot. Yeah. The stories, yeah. I know you said Bill, but I was like, you know, Bill's the greatest storyteller, in my opinion. Then it's Tony, and then you got Ali and Chappelle, but yeah, I was like, okay. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I would definitely say I appreciate slower comics. You know, the kind that don't actually rush. You know, I like everybody, but the style that I gravitated towards was the comic that that took its time. You know, one because I stutter. You know what I'm saying, you know, I need to slow down on stage so people can actually understand what I'm saying. And like, yeah, so that's how I kind of developed the style that I have now.
Facts.
Much shout out to all those people who do that comedy, especially like Chappelle and Tony Woods and stuff like that. You know, for sure.
Yeah, man. And you're a writer too, so you write skits, or you write?
Actually, screenplay writer, yo, and comic book writer. I have my own comic book series. It's called A Madman Tales, like a horror. It is a horror anthology, based around stories like Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock stuff, but from a black perspective. So like they all have like central theme. Yeah, it's a 7-part series. I think we have 6 that are completed. Waiting to complete the last one to drop like a full graphic novel. And I'm also the writer of a comic book series called Peter Kills the Metaverse. They just wrapped it up maybe a couple months ago, so it's like being packaged now, and that's gonna be public pretty soon. Peter Kills the Metaverse is pretty dope. Yeah, that's a 7-part joint too. So
you gotta send it to me.
Gotcha.
You gotta send it to me. Yeah. I think the comic book I'm reading is Last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, that's a popular joint. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. I'm not mad at that. But actually, one of the things that I got into writing from doing stand up. You say time out?
No, I was scratching my hand.
I got into writing by doing stand up, man, and so like it's funny how you realize opportunities or branches open up once you start doing certain things. Like I didn't know I can make a living off of writing. To be honest, not like I do now. But once I got into stand up, I started meeting other people. I started writing some jokes, and they was like, "Yo, you're a pretty good joke writer. Help me with the script." And so, all right, cool. So I did script punch ups. So they would send me a script, and I punch it up, make it funny, and then got linked up with some people that was actually doing a joint for TV. I can't say that for TV, and that's how I got in. I wasn't officially on the roster, but they brought me in, and then like that's how I kind of got my connections and everything. And I started doing punches from there, got on some rewrites, and then got with WGA and started doing studio work, man. And then got into the production side of entertainment. And I knew I had some projects of my own that I wanted to do in film. But, like the filming process takes so long and getting approved and getting funding. I wanted to actually complete the stories. And so I said, well, let me start doing comic books. That way I could write an idea, get it illustrated, and complete it. And that's a full idea already done. So I said, all right. And I started moving in that vein. And then just got on a lot of comic book projects, man. So, and then that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. He said screenplays too. So like you like the what's his name? Doing what a Jordan Peele is doing?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's the GOAT, man, for real. Definitely.
Jordan Peele will put gentrification and black trauma in a horror movie, and it's a fucking masterpiece.
Absolutely.
He killed Candyman.
Yeah, man, that dude is dope, man. He has a dope creative team around him too. So I definitely appreciate his journey. Of course, a lot of people know. Well, a lot of people don't know. Well, they probably do. He definitely started out in comedy. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty dope to see that transition. Like, yo, that's actually pretty dope.
I think essentially all comedians are writers, depending on how authentic our stories are when we go on the stage and tell our sets, turn them into a script. That's one of the things I admire about Seinfield. His whole thing, his whole show is just him and his dumbass friends. Or Curb Your Enthusiasm, same bits. Yeah, it was just like he would incorporate stand up in between. I was like, oh, he might be working on a bit, and that's actually my goat. But yeah, man.
I like it. Yeah, Seinfeld is definitely he's easily, there's certain comics that are on that Mount Rushmore, regardless if you like them or not. It's just like if you look at what they did, like they are actually really dope comics in Monumental. A lot of people, I don't like Seinfeld style, or I don't like Chappelle. Just okay, well, to say that is just like, okay, well, maybe you really don't understand what's happening. I'm not gonna say you don't like comedy, because you can still like comedy and have your favorites. Comedy is subjective, you know what I'm saying? But the craft is the same, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you may not like this house or that house, but they're all built in the same manner. Like, you gotta have a good foundation, strong foundation, and follow certain blocks and everything. But that's just like comedy. And those guys, they do it very, very, very well. They build very solid comedy houses, whether or not you like this style or not.
Big facts. That's how you look at it. So I am working on this, and I'm telling my guests now, where I'm keeping my episodes around 20 minutes, just for attention span.
That before we started, man. My fault.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
My whole story would have been way different, man. My stories would have been shorter, succinct, you know what I'm saying, and everything.
I'm sorry. I am working on this thing where I'm trying to keep it around 20 minutes, because the attention span is lost within the first 30. And I've noticed that the longer the episodes I have, the listen time is down. But the shorter the episodes I have, the listen time is up. So before we go, right, two things. And I'm sorry, I should have told you this in advance. What's some advice that you would give to a comedian that's starting out, and how can people follow you and see any updates going on?
Follow me at CoreyMarshall.com. I think my social media stuff is on there, but CoreyMarshall.com. Advice that I would give to new comics is the same advice that I started with at the top of the show, that I got. Keep getting up on stage. Keep writing. And don't be scared to share your voice.
Yeah. And if you guys want to follow me, it's Comedian Rome on all social media platforms. Follow me, I do follow back. No ID Media TV on YouTube. No ID is the podcast. Make sure you support Corey Marshall. When you go to his Instagram or go to his website, just hit that follow button. Sign up for any updates. Subscribe, like, share, comment, rate. We need those. now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.